The internet is a great place for sharing our builds and our successes and our triumphs. And, social media over the last decade or so has been fantastic for sharing skills and helping people to grow their experience with the modelling hobby. However, I feel as though sometimes people forget that we all start somewhere and develop over time. And I feel like they think that everything that we see online should be perfectly edited and only available to show everyone if, we think that it is absolutely spot on. I'm Matt. This is Model Minutes, and join me for this discussion from the workbench video where I talk about how I don't actually think I need to be a good modeler, and neither do you, in order to share our hobby. And I say this because I've had a number of comments, over the years. I've been doing this for nearly a decade now, so I get comments all the time. Most people are very positive, or they suggest ideas to me on how I can improve, and I think that a lot of my improvements have come from, constructive criticism and saying, hey, this is a new technique, have you tried this, or why don't you expand on that in your next build? And, it's really good. I don't think I would be where I am now if I hadn't have had so much support from you guys giving me suggestions on how to improve. But I do on occasion, and it is only now and then, it's not everybody, but there are definitely some people out there who leave a comment and say, why did you do it like this and then still upload it? Or why didn't you spend extra time fixing all the problems you said you had in the video and do a better job? Or that was just generally bad. Why did you bother uploading it? It's not just me. I've spoken to other content creators as well. We seem to get these comments, and there seems to be a minority out there who seem to think that when you post a build online, you should only post it if it is perfect. And I don't think that's the world we live in, is it? Is that realistic? Now, don't get me wrong, there are some incredibly talented people online, especially on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and other places, who make absolutely beautiful and intricate and, I just wish I had their level of skill and their level of talent. But I don't. I know my shortcomings. I'm mediocre, potentially at best. I'm fairly average. I try hard on some builds and I try not so hard on others, because if you've seen my video where I talk about my rules, sometimes we just need to take a break, and sometimes good is good enough for our own mental health. But I think that sometimes these people who do put out this amazing content, they sometimes don't always mention the struggles or where things have gone wrong. I mean, how many of these people post something which was catastrophically a problem, where the paint rippled and it stripped off, it was too reactive and they ruined a build? I mean, I would imagine that there are many, it's not just for modeling, this goes across the board as well. There are people who have massive problems with their hobby and they never publicize it. So all you get is this tiny little snapshot or window into this supposed perfect life. But this isn't the thing. I know people have been talking about this, particularly in fashion and like the beauty industry over, almost indefinitely, that what you see online isn't always true. So I have, in my time here on, content creation, been trying to remind people that it's okay not to be good. You can still share your models. You don't have to try your best every single build. You don't have to have the same skill level as those award-winning modelers in order to enjoy sharing how you got on with your build. And I think this comes back to people who don't understand that and think you should only ever put out the best that you can do, and if it's not up to a certain standard, no one should ever see it. These are the people who are the most vocal and put people down. So I would like to see in the future, perhaps, we can all remember that if someone puts something online and it's amazing, what maybe else have we missed that they didn't do such a good job of? And I think people who create content, such as myself and other people here on YouTube, we just need to remember that we need to be realistic as well. I do quite often put out videos where I say, yeah, I screwed up, I made an error, I made the paint strip, I made the paint bubble, I absolutely ruined the decals, I made the decals fold over and they look terrible, but I carried on anyway, because to err is to human, isn't it? To make a mistake is only natural. And I think that it makes us less relatable if we hide those mistakes. And this just swings back to that thing where you don't have to be a good modeler in order to be a passionate modeler. You could just enjoy gluing bits together and then painting it. You could just enjoy gluing it and not painting it. You could just enjoy sticking the decals on. And what you find your enjoyment with is what you should share. From my point of view, as a fairly average modeler, I would like to encourage more people to pick up a paintbrush, to buy their first kit and have a go by being relatable and realistic, rather than someone picking up their first kit and trying to replicate something they saw online, which is like from a modeler with 25-30 years experience, and they use all of the latest products to a very high standard, and they spent all of this extra money on 3D printed parts and all these other bits and pieces, and they produce this wonderful display piece. And this person who's seen this video and gone, I can do that, but bearing in mind there's this massive skill gap, this person still needs that amount of practice to get to that person's level, and then once they create this kit and they compare it and they go, mine doesn't look anything like that, why doesn't it look like that? I followed the steps, I did the thing. It's because we might not have developed our skills to that point. At which point, how does this person feel? They weren't able to replicate the same results, and they go, oh, well, I won't bother again. Whereas I feel like with some of my simple kits that I build, and I do my Back to Basics series, I'd much rather encourage like 1,000 new modelers to have a go at 1,000 new kits, rather than just have one person try and pick up a kit and replicate results which maybe they couldn't follow on with. I'd much rather encourage more people to join the hobby, because that's how the hobby grows. I'm just one person, but if in my time during the modeling hobby I can encourage more than one person to take it up, then that's a net positive, and there are more people to buy kits, and our industry, our plastic model kit manufacturers get more business, and that means that they can employ more people and make more kits for us, which means that we can share that with more people. It's almost exponential, isn't it? So that's what I'd like to see in the future, is everybody just sharing their I wouldn't say necessarily their failures or their failings, but sharing their less than happy results. I do it all the time. I didn't do so well with this. I'm realistic about it, and this is what I think I can do to improve. Don't get me wrong, I know that there's loads of stuff that I could do to improve. I don't enjoy sanding seams, I hate it, and that's quite a common message left under the videos, is why didn't you sand the seam? I don't really enjoy it. I'm not particularly good at it either. I don't think my hands bend in the right direction. It just, everybody's different. I don't like doing ejector pin marks. I don't like filling those in. I would say I'm probably a bit lazy. I just tend to spray things one color and call it a day. There's a level of enjoyment from the kits that I don't necessarily always feel based on some of the models. Some models I absolutely love to build. Other models, if they're not particularly good quality ones, then they can be a bit of a struggle. And, I'll share that with you anyway. I'll share with you my successes, like when I did my F6F Hellcat, the massive one from Airfix, probably the best quality kit that I've ever built so far on my time here on YouTube, but also I'll share things with you where I've absolutely messed up. So moving forwards, maybe we can all be more relatable and realistic with our achievements. And remember that we don't all have to strive for that insane level of perfection in order to be able to share our creations. I think we're more likely to get more people join the hobby if we are realistic and honest. I think, in summary, perhaps we don't have to push ourselves to strive for perfection, and undoubtedly there are going to be better modelers than us, and also those who perhaps need assistance to get to the same level that we're at. So we may not have to be good modelers, but at least let's be passionate modelers. And with that, we can help our hobby grow through our enthusiasm and enjoyment. I think that's probably all I have to say on this. So I've enjoyed having you here with my kind of brain just spilling information out of it. And you could also let me know any other suggestions for content like this that you'd like to see in the future. As always, I want to give a quick shout out to my Model Club members for the extra support they give the channel. Massive thanks to these guys on screen. And if you'd like to join them or support the channel in other ways, take a look at the links in the description. The best way to support this channel for free though, and see more content like this when it comes out, is by subscribing with your notifications turned on so you never miss a modelling upload. Finally though, thank you for joining me at the workbench today, and I'll see you again next time.